This episode of Legendary is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker. Gamebreaker TV. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Legendary, episode 154 for December 12th, 2013. Coming up on today's show, patch 542 is here, and it broke PvP. We take a fresh look at the in-game store, and our hard five-mans making a comeback in Warlords. All that before first, from WoW Insider, Zam, right here at Gamebreaker. Finally, with some lights. Olivia D. Grace. Hey, Liv.
Look, I got shadows. I can do shadow. I can do shadow.
Oh, you can do shadow puppets. Do you know sign language? Because you could go, you know, fake.
No,
it
I don't know
like,
sign language.
You could go do events for Obama and then just tell them that the angels.
So I've come and I've brought my two shadows with me. Yeah.
Did you hear that story?
But actually, my video's all working this week. It's all good. Like, my internet's recovered. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I can see your beautiful faces and watch chat room this week. So yay!
Do you know that story, though? By the way, you've been in the U.S. long enough now. Are you following the U.S. the real world news? Did you hear about the guy who was caught? The guy who does sign language. He did it at the Mandela Memorial, but they found out that he doesn't even know sign language. He was faking it the entire time.
Wow.
There's a real world.
Yes, it's not in Azeroth.
That is that's amazing.
He was not signing in Azeroth, Olivia D. Grace.
That's an amazing news story. Like, what? He was just, like, doing this? Just making it up as he went along?
See, Karen loves you even more. She has no idea what I'm talking about. It's like the biggest story in the real world ever. She has no idea. That's why you love her, Karen. Because she cares and knows so much about the World of Warcraft. That's why you love her. That's why we love her.
Well, this is the World of Warcraft show.
Yeah,
wow,
it's not a world show.
See that dramatic slow transition? We fixed
that. That was cool.
You like that? Hey, Pat Crane,
that's nice.
How are you?
Hi, how are you? Hi, and welcome to everyone to this wonderful show. Yeah,
jazz hands,
all that kind of stuff. Jazz hands.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Look, I do jazz shadows as well. Jazz hand shadows.
I love that you could do shadow puppets for us. You can learn some for next week, because that'd be great.
She needs to learn the unicorn duck shadow puppet.
Oh yeah, what is that? It's
I don't know. It's I was trying to figure it out earlier.
Like that?
It's the shocker.
What? I don't know. Straight over my head.
That's fine. That's totally fine. It's
totally fine.
It's very inappropriate. Don't look that up on. Don't look that up on Urban Dictionary. No, don't
hey,
do that.
Pat Crane! We got a new show. Hi, we got a new show.
We do, and word is that it's back on for tonight.
It is back on for tonight. Had no idea. Thought it was canceled. So after Legendary, it's going to be live on Thursdays after Legendary. So it's a full night of Gamebreaker shows. And guess what? It's the flagship show, Gamebreaker the show.
Right. Right.
Wow. Look at those graphics.
Nice logo. I mean, when did you have the time to come up with that? I
spent all of 3 minutes on that. It took me longer to save it out probably than it did to make that graphic. No, I think we're gonna revamp it. I literally did that like in 3 minutes today because I was like, oh shit, we don't have graphics for a show. Boom. What does Gamebreaker the show look like? I don't know what that means, but whatever. All right.
Right.
People are all wondering people are all wondering what the show is about.
Well, it is going to be about gaming news. I mean, really, it's not necessarily going to be about one particular game or another. It's not going to be about MMOs. It's not going to be about any of this other stuff. But it's going to be about how real world meets gaming and how gaming kind of influences everything else in our lives. And we'll be chatting about it, and hopefully, well, and then Coltrane's there to make sure that
Derail
everybody
the
laughs a
entire
lot.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll probably be crying by like 2 seconds into it. Yeah, like some
Yeah.
of the topics we're going to talk about tonight on the first episode, the World of Warcraft peeps, and this we're going to chat about the whole Swiftie getting detained by the police during a live stream.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. Should read about that one.
Yep.
Man buys a photo of Xbox, the Xbox One off of eBay for $735. That's a winner.
Mm-hmm. Or something.
There's something.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about all the YouTube craziness going on. No Man's Sky,
Yeah.
which is a big reveal of VGX. All kinds of like, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good show. I gotta get my I was gonna say I gotta get my tissues ready, but that sort of sounds weird. So
Just taking it all sorts of wrong this week.
well, it was really because like Coltrane's probably gonna have me on the floor laughing my ass off, and I'm just gonna have like tears rolling down my face, which is what I meant.
Yeah.
Insert foot here, which is usually Shaftnet's job, but I guess I'll take that role tonight.
Right.
Wow, where are we?
I don't know. You're introducing Shaftnet. Is what you're doing.
Yeah.
How's that?
The NSA are listening.
Oh, that's right. They are. They are.
I don't want to know.
Say nothing.
Shh. His name is Grimolian or something like that. I don't know.
Why does everybody put the M before the L?
What?
Krell.
What are you talking about?
Krellumian. It's not that difficult.
No, that's kind of difficult. I'm
Spectacular
sorry.
names. So yeah, NSA is spying on World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Stealing your strats, your Thunder Fury jokes, and your rotations.
All that really useful stuff that comes up in Baron's chats.
So much.
By the way, when I first read that, I was thinking that they were tapping into the voice chat system for WoW, and I'm like, they are not learning jack anything off of that because nobody's using it.
Well, it was something I saw someone tweeted out that's why Blizzard's voice chat system works so well because the NSA are using it.
Oh, that's good.
That's what's going on there.
But really, I'm sure we all read this article, right? Like, what's crazy is like the stuff that they talk about in the report. It makes no sense. Like they talk about like training and exercises, which you could kind of maybe make the connection between like a first person shooter or a simulator, but. What the F are you learning in World of Warcraft that's going to help you become a better
I guess WoW is quite strategic. Like, you have to work as a team. But to kill dragons,
Warcraft,
not...
be a better terrorist.
This keeps on coming up. This keeps on coming up, and to be serious about it, I mean, when you think about, I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago when the Norway shootings happened, right? And WoW was under the microscope on that one as well, and for some reason, this crazy dude said that he was using WoW as a way to train for it, or that's what the news agencies were claiming.
Yeah, the news pulled that one and kind of flipped it around because World of Warcraft gets much more hits than saying, I used first-person shooters to train my aiming. Like to say I use World of Warcraft, and suddenly you get like, lots of people interested in it. But
and I'm like, how are you training with WoW? Are you tab targeting? Because that's really
you can't tab target people.
No.
Training to deal with trolls in game. Like that's the only how to deal with a-holes.
It's the
bad DPS. You're training the DPS meters.
How to handle bad DPS, how to run a loot council, how to fairly use a DKP system.
It's just not.
Go ahead.
Not that I agree with the invasion of privacy in order to do it. I don't look at it as so much of a actual, like, we're getting trained by World of Warcraft to go do a shooting. There was a chart, I can't remember if it was on Gamebreaker's site or if it was on the article that linked additionally to it, and they had a whole, like, bullet points of, like, that had 3 different degrees of if it would work for, like, recruiting, and if it would work for building teamwork, and if it would work for XXX, and MMORPGs was the only one on the table that was a green light for every single one of those categories. And I think to a certain degree you can essentially say that what if the person who did the Sandy Hook shooting, for whatever reason, mentioned something on World of Warcraft in passing, joking to his friend in a private message. Could it have helped and saved those lives? Who knows? Maybe, possibly. That's why they should be able to monitor those chats.
Yeah, and I mean, like Blizzard, I know for a fact that Blizzard takes any kind of like stuff like that incredibly seriously. Like we've all heard the stories in the past about some kid who jokes about going to your house and shooting you in game, and then 10 minutes later the actual police arrive at his door because someone's gone to Blizzard and they've like gone and said, all right, we need to do something about this. They take that sort of stuff incredibly seriously. And I mean, if that's what the NSA are looking for, then cool. I mean, I come from England. It's a very surveillance-heavy society. We're kind of okay with being watched because we can't escape.
Let's just. I mean, let's just like chalk it up and say, you know what? They're everywhere. Like that's. Yeah. It's like they're literally everywhere. There's something recording this stream right now. It's taking.
You, isn't it, Gary Gannon? You're recording this stream right now.
Yes.
I'm just Gary. Really, I'm just happy that they're watching and listening to us right now.
Yeah, hi the NSA.
It's more viewers for us, Gary. Come on.
Hi NSA agents. Gary from Legendary here. Just wanted to chime in and hope that candy bar and that cup of tea is really nice right now while you're sitting.
Did you see Rob Pardo? And the closing on this, did you see Rob Pardo's tweet?
No.
The best excuse for gaming at work ever.
Oh, that I thought about that because they said they had, it sounded like they almost, I don't know if they mentioned how many people, but it sounded almost like there's like hundreds of people playing for the NSA. Like there was like large groups of numbers. Like, wow, best job ever.
Right.
Here, play this game and just keep your eyes out.
Keep your eyes out for people.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Those damn ERP kids. Craziness. They're everywhere, people. All right, let's talk about some actual news. Not that is probably the most important news we could possibly ever talk about on this show, but according to Olivia D. Grace, there is no IRL. She doesn't even know what that is. Sorry.
No idea.
Patch 5.4.2 launched this week, so it was Tuesday, the norm. This is one of the smaller patches I think that we've seen in a while. Added the in-game store, new cross-realm section in the raid browser. First up, in-game store. Have either of you guys, has anybody here had a chance to check it out?
Yes, Gary, I have.
Wow,
I have had a chance to check it out.
Sounds like you spent money on that 50% off.
And here's one of the problems that I have with the store right now is that it is way too easy to use. You just select the thing and then you enter in your password and you're good to go. And then it arrives right in your inventory, and you just click on it, and instant pet or instant mount or whatever.
Instant money vacuum. It's like they just stuff the vacuum into your pocket.
Exactly.
There goes my wallet.
And I gotta say, I love how if you log on right now, everything's like 50% off for the holidays. Not because we just implemented this feature and it's so easy. I was this close. You guys know my policy when it comes to mounts and paying money for the stuff in WoW. I was this close to finally buying a Cinder Kitten. And I like pulled myself out of it and was like, no!
How far did you get? Were you hovering the mouse over the buy a Cinder Kitten button? Were you?
Yes.
You just literally hovering it there and you...
I was like $5, like 50% off, and I don't have to deal with like going to the website to do it. Like, oh, I could almost do it, but I'm not gonna.
Look at the mouse; it's just calling you. It's just calling you.
It's just hovering there.
Click. That'd be the next thing. There's inaudible sound files like playing that you can't audibly hear, but they're like, click now, click my chapter, click the Cinder Kitten. It's like, wow. For some reason, I want to click and buy the Cinder Kitten. I have never had the urge to buy an in-game item ever in the World of Warcraft, and now for some reason, I want to purchase it. Right. How much money did you spend, Pat? Are you willing to share that with us?
I bought them out, so it was $12.50, and I'm not ashamed of that, and I'm okay with that. That's not bad. I bought one mount.
Which one? What did you buy?
The aspect mount, the yellow dragon.
The yellow dragon one. Cool.
Yeah, because I haven't had that one yet, and I was like, it's for research. I need to do this for research.
For science.
For this show. Yes, exactly. So I did that, and it's way too easy. Sorry.
Are there any on there that you're like still sort of contemplating that you're like, man, I just want to start spending money? Because $12 is not really bad. You talk to the Star Citizen guys, and they're like $12.
Yes.
Spent like $800 on ships.
Right. Well, I mean, I've actually most of the mounts that are on there, I either have or really have no interest in. like the bat one. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Yeah, Bloodwing.
Yeah, but I played a troll. My druid used to be a troll for a long time, so I was so used to being a bat that actually flying a bat mount has no interest whatsoever. So I'm cool. I'm cool. That's right.
Yeah, no, I haven't bought anything on it yet, but mostly because my UI hasn't actually updated itself to include the store button yet. But I kind of want, they must have updated the parental controls for this. Like, can you imagine some kid goes onto his mum's WoW account and like there's going to be some story of like credit card with, like I wonder what the total, like after the 50% sale is off, they could spend like $150 on that store.
That's happened to
like,
mobile games back in the day. There's a few mobile games that happened to, where like, you know, parents bought their kids the mobile game and put all their information, and then all of a sudden they were just like, buy dragons, buy dragons, buy dragons.
Oh my God, I want a dragon.
All of a sudden there's like $1,000 credit card bill and you're effed. Yeah, there's got to be some parental control.
Yeah, they must have. Like, there's no, like, it just suddenly thought with like what you were saying about how it's so easy. I was like, my God, can you imagine some parent? There's going to be a story before, I bet you there's going to be a story before too long of someone who hasn't set up parental controls on the account. And therefore is like, oh, my child spent $200 on all these pretty things. So you can gift them as well.
It's a good thing that it's a good thing that it's a half off sale right now, because that $200 could have been $400. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Well, now you know what to get everybody for Christmas. You could just log in and clicky and gift.
Beauty.
And you're good to go.
My mum will love it.
Yeah.
Here, mother, have a World of Warcraft account and a pet. You're gonna love this.
Just the pet. She's like, Olivia, I'm going to take my pet out for a walk today.
Nice.
Good luck.
All right. Also, the new raid browser. This is not the group finder you are looking for. Yes, this is not the group finder Blizzard, promised us at BlizzCon. They're very clear this is not it. So, exactly what have they done here? What is it?
I can't find it. I can't find the actual thing. So I was
right where it used to be.
I was looking around tonight. And I could not find it. I was like pressing buttons madly. I was like going, okay, I need to find this stupid thing. It's been a while, so I don't really know where it is. It's been probably, 3 years since I've actually looked for it. So I was looking for it, and I'm pressing buttons, and I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea where it is.
I literally had the exact opposite situation. So
you had the opposite problem?
Yeah, no. I opened it up
by accident.
I opened it up. I went into the raid tab. I was like, other raids, and I looked at it and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, there's people in here, but this doesn't look like anything like the pictures that are on MMO Champion. This can't be it. This can't be what I was looking for. I must be wrong. And then I went and read like more in depth on MMO Champion. I was like, oh no, that was it. Okay, well I found it like that. And I just thought it wasn't it because of the fact that it wasn't what I didn't read that part where they didn't implement the full system that they were talking about with Warlords of Draenor, and it's just the old system that they had in place. Now what you're kind of seeing is you're just seeing it more populated. It's kind of has the options.
The options.
And now it has the option of like all the raids, the flex, and basically all the way back. I think even as far as Burning Crusade, maybe even farther. Now, I looked at it. No one's queued for any of those, so it doesn't really help because the option's there, but no one's queuing for it. But I think they did say that they've opened up it to be like cross-realm.
Yeah, exactly that, Mike. That's exactly right. So the Celestials and Ordos and Mist of Pandaria Flex are now all cross-realm. I don't mean to be a pay. Like I've been onto it 4 or 5 times since it launched because I was trying to get some screenshots of those people queued up so I could write an article on how it worked. So this is what happens when you see a group, this is when you see individuals, and you can make a group like this. And so far I think I've seen a maximum of 3 people on there. And this is what we were talking about. This is the problem, is that A, people don't know where it is, and B, people use OQ. There's 27,000 people from each faction on OQ on EU servers, and 5 on this. And in fairness to Blizzard, this is a very underused system, and it's not what they're this isn't their replacement for the group finder. This is just something they were like, well, we can do this, so why not? Let's do it and make it easier for people to find groups.
And I just want to say I had at least on if I was looking at Siege of Orgrimmar, Flex 1 and 2, I think there was at least 15 to 20 people in mine. So it was enough that if I wanted, no one was in charge of group, everyone was individually, and there was only 2 healers and a crap ton of DPS, so you couldn't have made a group if you wanted to. But if someone wanted to take charge, and they could have started collecting these people and at least made a 10-man. So I can see how it can already be working.
Maybe I've just been logging on at funny times of day, but it's just like I don't know, the contrast between it and other ways to make groups is huge at the moment, and it will continue to be until they put together their proper group finder thing.
Is this really the last patch? Like, is this it?
Yes. Yes,
really?
That is.
This is really anticlimactic.
And we're not
it's
getting
really
Warlords
slow.
of Draenor until August.
Is this? Are you really sure of that? Are we really sure that this was it?
Yes.
Really...
I am positive.
Like, they've been so adamant. Like, they have sort of teased that there might, in various different places, that there's going to be some kind of pre-patch for Warlords. So some kind of like you know, the sort of the changeover patch. Like they've said on Twitter that we need to see the trial of Garrosh take place, and obviously we all know what happens next. Spoilers, go and look it up if you don't know. So they need to put that in the game, and they need to like have the sort of, I don't know, the events leading up to how we end up going to Draenor in the first place need to be put into the game somehow. So there's got to be something for that, which I suspect that might be like a sort of 6.00 type patch, like, you know, like we had for Kata, which there wasn't one for Mist, much of people's chagrin apart from there's something along those lines. But I do think that we're going to have this. They keep saying that this is it. This is the last of Mists of Pandaria, and it's so hard to believe because it's like
Chatrum's not buying
no,
it.
Chatrum's not buying it.
I'm not buying it either.
I'm telling you right now. I was in the room when they specifically stated this is the last yes, I think Olivia's right. We will see the expansion patch like we always have, the intermittent one that we got for Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and Cataclysm. And yes, there wasn't really one as much for Mists of Pandaria. But again, they could go back on their word. They could completely change it. But the stance that they had when during BlizzCon, after they announced it, they said anytime this is I do not feel we're getting another content patch, period. Because they specifically stated anytime that they spend on another content patch, on another raid, on another dungeon, on another X, if it takes them 10 months to make that patch to be the intermittent patch, Warlords of Draenor is delayed 10 months. So there's no reason to make the content patch.
Exactly.
Because they're just delaying Warlords of Draenor. It's not going to happen.
There will be a reason to make a patch if they decide to go there, and that's going to be really dependent on the beta and when that's going to be available for people to try out. Because if the beta is not available for, let's say, another 3 months, people are going to really start to kind of wallow in the sameness of I mean, we're so used to.
Doesn't that happen?
You want to know
their response?
Their response was exactly that. That's exactly what they said right after they talked about how long the intermittent cycle would be, and what I just said. They said, "What? Well, aren't people going to complain?" And they're like, "Oh no,
but
you've done it before. That's just what happens. People get
they know that it will happen. I mean, this is if they stay the same for too long, people will notice and people will start to complain. I mean, this is kind of what we're used to. They set us on this path of every 2 months we're going to update with new stuff. And now that they've upped the production schedule that heavy, they have to have something going by January where they have to really promote something. And I'm guessing that we are right around the corner from beta. That would be my guess.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
April 4th incoming WAD.
I know. I think
April 4th for the game.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
might be ambitious.
Well,
I think we're going to see beta.
There's another little game launching on April 4th.
Yeah.
Right.
No, there isn't. I honestly think we're going to see beta mid to late January. That's my sort of like finger in the air guess on it, because they're not going to do it now because everyone's going away for Christmas. Right. They're not going to be able to do, because for the same reasons, they're not going to be able to pull a beta out of their backsides for the early part of January, but maybe like mid to late January they could have a beta running. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that.
Yep. And I think they need that.
For sure, they need that.
Things are really kind of coming in line with a couple weeks back with my predictions of when we're getting beta and when we'll see the launch. Just saying, I think I was right.
Well, Mike, I think you're wrong. So we'll see.
So wait, hang on, you said September. Like
I
a
said
6-month
August.
beta
No,
starting in January.
I said August.
He said August. Initially, I think he said August, September, and then he went to August because it was earlier because he realized he was wrong already. So now he's going. Now he's sticking with
like,
August.
oh no, I said July, August. Totally, I said early August.
Yeah,
End of July, early August.
It seems
said
like
August
I think
at
the
the
reason
earliest.
the chat room though, I think the reason like everybody's saying no is just such a small patch that this came out, and it's like it just kind of like came out. There's not really much.
Yeah.
You don't.
There's gonna be another patch. I mean, there's definitely gonna be a pre-patch for Warlords for sure, where they're gonna introduce like all the class changes and probably some of the gear changes and who knows.
Well, the item squish has got to come in. Like I feel like the item squish has to come in before the actual expansion arrives in full. I believe they've actually said that they're going to be bringing that in early, so they're not going to be like expansion item squish. There you go, have fun with that. Like people are going to have time to get used to the item squish before the expansion actually launches. And that's a good thing. So we'll definitely be seeing like exciting changes happening. Just exactly when that pre-patch comes out, though, we'll have to wait and see.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see. Mike Shaftnet's still going to claim this one as a victory, though.
Yeah, really. Mike Shaftnet's going to claim it because he said sometime in 2014.
No. All I've ever said, August at the absolute earliest, and that's because
I'm
I don't
giving it to
think
you, Shaftnet. I'm giving it to you. They're not. I'm giving it to you. I'm thinking you're right.
Yeah.
there's no way. The other thing to consider. Let's throw out all 5 previous expansions as experience. We'll just not count that at all. Let's think about the fact that if we release it in June, July, when everybody's on summer vacation, and we usually see a subscription dip anyway, they'd be smarter to wait until school starts back up again when college kids are resubbing and everyone else is resubbing, because people actually take breaks during the summer. So why would you launch the game in summer? People are away.
That's why they can't. I don't think that summer is going to be the right time to launch a game anyway. But I do think that there you go. I do think that they're going to probably launch it before June. I mean that would be perfect for I think everybody.
I think they have to. Like, I just think that if it's September, they're going to lose so many people, and like once people unsub, they realize that there is a world outside Azeroth. They don't come back.
They've broken the cycle. Once they break the Pavlovian cycle, it's all over.
You need to keep them gripped into it. They're like, wait,
That's
what?
right.
I don't even need to get my best in slot. I don't play this game anymore.
Somebody from Blizzard's got to be in chat room. Somebody just dropped the release date.
Rigarius, I believe, is in chat.
Somebody here. Somebody's got to be.
Celestalani, maybe he's in chat. Let's
Rigarius
talk to
is in
him.
chat. Rigarius won't tell us though. Rigarius is like
drop something while we move on. Who knows? It's gonna be interesting. All right, let's move on. So there's some interesting discussion taking over on the EU forums. You're still living. You're still on the EU forums all the time, aren't you, Liv? Even though
check me out. That's where I'm from, man. Got to represent.
You gonna get your citizenship?
I'm so street. I have EU citizenship. Yeah. It's to steal someone else's joke. I'm so street. They call me Ghost Crawler.
Oh wow. World of Warcraft humor. Love it. All right.
I know, it's great.
The Blizzard CM Tapeslim was talking over to posters over on the EU forums about the possibility of hard 5-man content returning with WoD. Can we call it WoD?
I love
I think we should call it WoD. I think we should definitely call it WoD.
I know that Blizzard is calling it Warlords, but I've been calling it WoD for a while. Coltrane has not latched onto the WoD.
Wouldn't WoD be W-A-D? It would be WOD. It would be WOD. It's not
if it had an E on the end, it would be WOD. But WOD is like an actual word.
Okay.
Yeah.
WoD.
WoD.
That other WoD is definitely not ever coming out, so I'm just going to call it WoD. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so first up, he's talking about 5-man heroics. They're bringing back heroic normal split at max level in Warlords. I don't know, Pat Grain, do you think it's a good change?
Yeah, I mean, I think that overall it's probably a good change. It'll still have the nice thing is that they're going to have normals for all level cap players. So at level 100, you'll still be able to get into all of the normals, which was not the case in Miss Pandaria. If you remember in Miss, they just had one level, which was called heroic, but that was the only thing to select from, so there wasn't a normal. So in Warlords, at level 100, you will have the option of going normal and heroic, and I think that will kind of beef up the 5-man regime of gearing. So you'll be able to gear through normals to get into heroics, and then as you gear up in heroics, you'll be able to actually dip into raiding and all that kind of end game stuff. So that's kind of cool. The question is, what type of difficulty are we talking about for Warlords of Draenor? Are we talking about the same thing that happened in the Cataclysm, which, if some people recall, there were certain dungeons that took about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
You are a Care Bear, sir. Holy cow.
I'm saying...
I forget which one it was in Auction of Dune, but one of them took like 4 hours, and it was the
Auction of Doom.
Auction
Dune.
Auction Dune. I've never known that word. I'm not even gonna pretend.
Auction Doom.
I'm just saying. I remember that. It was gosh, which one was it? I don't remember which one it was. It was the one that has the
Shattered Halls.
No.
Shattered Halls. No, that's not that. Sethek Halls.
None of those are even in Auction of Dune.
Sethek Halls is an auction of Doom.
Oh, I thought you said Shattered Halls.
I didn't say Shattered Halls, and I corrected myself.
Shattered is in the
Shattered is
in the other place.
Yeah, not that one.
Yeah.
What else is there? The Nexus is there. Manitombs is there.
Manitombs.
It wasn't Manitombs. It was the other one. It was the one with the big wind elemental at the end of it.
There's 4, right?
Yeah. Is it the
Shadow Labs?
The Nexus is
Shadow Labs.
Thanks, chat.
Shadow Labs took like 4 hours, and you would probably wipe about halfway through, and then trash would respawn, and you'd have to clear all of the trashes to get back to the end. That was intense.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, in what was the Tolbarad? No, not Tolbarad.
Tolbarad. Grim Battle.
Grim Battle. Thank you. I always get those two mixed up. Anyway, so. In that one, remember, you had to do all the CC and everything like that. They brought back CC for Cataclysm, and a lot of players were like, "Oh yeah, we're bringing back CC," and then they went, "Oh my God, it's a 2-hour dungeon. What the hell is going on, Blizz?" And then Ghostcrawler started getting all the hate on the forums about it, and yes, the circle just kind of kept on going with that.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not going to be like that, but I am looking forward to a higher difficulty because I thought the Miss of Pandaria was a little
too easy. Too easy.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the difficulty? They're saying it's going to be about the same difficulty as Vortex Pinnacle. So
I think
is that a good sweet spot?
Yeah, I think Vortex Pinnacle was hard enough that you were just like you had the boss with the tornadoes that go in and out, the lightning shield. Which that did some damage early on in the expansion when you first started. That lightning that came out would zap you pretty hard. Then you had Altarius, which was the one with the wind going backwards and forth, so you had the buff on the one side and the debuff on the other, and that was annoying on heroic because you got the tornadoes that shot you up in the air and you could die to tornado RNG. And then you had the last one where you had to jump. Do you remember that one where you would cast static cling, and if you didn't jump at the end as it landed and your healer wasn't quick enough to dispel you, you died because of the lightning field.
That's right.
And it was hard, but it wasn't I think it's really important to sort of think about how it was hard. For example, Stonecore has given us one of those ones that was super hard, and the one in there that was difficult was Osrook, where he had 2 one-shot mechanics. So if you screwed up Ground Slam or if you screwed up on Shatter, you were dead. Game over, man, game over. So and that's frustrating to people. And when you wipe time and time and time again to Osrook because your tank can't face the ground slams the right way and no one's running from Shatter, that's really annoying. Whereas Vortex Pinnacle was difficult, but it was absent of those one-shots. Shafnet has got his hand up like he's in school.
Well, I just wanted to say I was trying to be subtle, be like, I've got a point after this. But if we want to pretend like I wasn't trying to be polite and let you finish, but, the thing is, I don't think that it's not about the length, it's not about the trash, it's about the difficulty, and I think. I forget which one they said it was. Vortex Pinnacle was not difficult enough. And I don't remember, again, this was on MMO Champion that I saw the post where they likened the idea of creating these hard modes. And they weren't talking about heroics, they were kind of talking about challenge modes. But I think that where you're saying having those mechanics where it's you don't mess, or if you mess up, you die, I think is fine. I think that's what makes the good encounter, because the encounter itself is difficult. Where people had, I think, the most problem with hard dungeons were ones that were very long and ones that had a lot of trash. It wasn't in the boss complexity.
And Vortex Pinnacle is good for that too.
Difficult bosses.
Yeah, I think the point I'm more trying to make is that with Osric, like Osric I particularly remember because I was tanking those dungeons, all of those dungeons. And like as a tank, Osric was the one where you're really like, right, don't screw this up. Because if you screw this up, you will wipe the entire group. And like that was the one where if you screwed up, you died. And the amount of times where I'd be healing those dungeons and see a tank who just mess it up over and over and over and over again. And like it just got so frustrating because they were just getting it wrong. And it was like once you'd learned how to do it, it was really easy. But when you hadn't done it before, it was kind of hard to wrap your head around it. And like that, I think that sort of instant kill mechanic is what is absent from Vortex Pinnacle. Like there's stuff that will kill you, but you get like 1 or 2 tries. You get like a second chance. I think that's kind of an important distinction.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I was actually tanking during some of that as well, and I think that the boss encounters were really well suited for difficulty for tanks and for healers and for DPS. I mean, you had a bunch of different mechanics that were moving at all times in any of those dungeons. But yeah, I mean, you know, you had trash packs that were way too difficult, and you know, you had to do a lot of CC, so it was slow going. It was just kind of like slogging through a dungeon for, you know, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like I was talking about. But I think that they got a lot of stuff right, but still managed to make it not fun somehow, even though that like some of the encounters were like totally cool. But because of the trash and stuff, it just was like, oh man. So
yeah, I totally agree with Shaft at this point. I totally agree with Shaft on the trash side of things as well. Like one thing about Vortex Pinnacle, you had that first trash pull, and then you had a couple of the pulls with the elementals up the stairs either side, and like there was some trash in there that took time. Like you remember the like the Tolvir kind of guys who were there, and you had to like if you had a priest, you could mind control one off the side, and that sort of thing. Like that trash used to take a while. But I don't think it was as bad as like Stonecore trash was. Like if you screwed up and pulled that whole room just before Osric, it was so annoying. And like you'd wipe on that trash. And like think about the trash in Elbrain, come on, the Zulaman Zul'Garub dungeons, where if you didn't get that trash right, you'd wipe trash. And that was a bit excessive in my book as well. But then I don't want it to be so trivial that you just sort of go boss, boss, boss. Yeah. Like, for example, the Arrow Twilight dungeons at the end of Cataclysm, they were too easy.
See, I want to see, like, it's tough for me to say because I think the conflict here is you want to try and create an engaging experience that makes the people want to go back after they're done clearing it. Now, I will preface what I'm about to say is Burning Crusade was right around the time that I had first started. It was when I was actually cared enough to be rolling other characters, and I didn't mind as much going back to see old dungeons, but I will say Vortex Pinnacle and all of Cataclysm dungeons, as soon as I outgeared Heroics, you had to bribe me to want to go back because they were just a pain, and I didn't find the entertainment value in going and doing these hard encounters, which I think is necessary to keep those alive like they want to. I think a little bit I've changed, but there was something about the difficulty of Hellfire, of Shattered Hall's heroic mode that still, like to this day, I remember it was fun to go back even after I outgeared it. I still didn't necessarily mind going back to do it with friends because the entertainment of the difficulty of Shattered Halls was still difficult, even after I outgeared.
Yeah, I know. I think I found, like, because I just, and I think that might be something to do, Shaf, with your very much being a one-character guy. Like, I put my Paladin through there until she was geared up, but I'd still go back and run them for guildies because they were like, oh, we need a tank, you're geared, come on through. And like then once I'd done them and it was difficult, I enjoyed doing them and them being easy because they'd been so hard when I was like had no gear on my pally. And then I was like, because I then had another 2 tanks and another 3 healers to go through there. So I was just like constantly running dungeons. And for me personally, running 5-mans is my favorite downtime thing to do. Like I love running 5-man content. So it's just different people.
Does this and so to that, does this actually point to all signs point to more 5-mans coming in Warlords?
I certainly hope so. I mean, this is kind of one of those things where in Mists of Pandaria there were too few, and they didn't add any more. They just added scenarios, right? So this is one of those times where you kind of hope that they add a little bit more. I know that, you know, being a healer, and I'm sure Liv, you're kind of the same way, where you actually like and appreciate the trinity of, healer,
For
tank,
sure.
and DPS. You know, I mean,
100%. Yeah.
that's what we do. This is like practice for us. This
Yeah.
is making sure that we know how to play our class and our spec. You know, doing that is awesome for people like us, for the people playing off spec, or sorry, support roles, I should say. And so I really hope that they do that. Plus, with normals and heroics, there you give it a longer. You give players a longer route to take, which is not a bad thing at all, and it gives you more time in those dungeons, and it helps you ramp up on that difficulty and get into raiding a little bit easier, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
Were you guys fans of the Boss Must Die quests?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, in Kata, I was like, where did they go? I loved doing, like, my guild would, like, we would have a, what day was it? It was Tuesday, because in the EU stuff resets on Wednesday. So Tuesday, we would all, as a guild, log on and do those quests every week. And it was
They
fun.
talked about the same thing in the thread. They also mentioned the thread about bringing something like that back to maybe, I guess, extend the life of the content.
That would be cool.
You think a lot of players would want that back?
Yeah. I don't know, like Mike Schaffner's doing the Debbie Downer thing again.
No.
Personally, I would absolutely adore it.
Here's the thing, I think it helps. I think it helps combat exactly what I was just saying. The attitude that, look, I'm in raid gear and I don't want to go run this anymore. Why would I want to go back and do this for just a small amount of valor? Oh wait, you're going to give me, you know, the equivalent of what I can get in a raid, and I can get a little bit of bump in valor points to do this instead of just. I think that instead of just justice points, that helps motivate the raiders to go back and not only help their friends, but gives them reason to go back and run this old content, which I think is good. But I do think that there's also a threshold with certain players that they hit a certain point where even that can't coax them to go back. They're just like, no, like, sure.
Oh, totally. Like, those players are never... Yeah, those players are never going to go back, though. Those particular players are not the people that you're trying to catch with these. They're the players like you who are like, I'm kind of fed up with this now. Oh, but I can go in and I can get like a dungeon's worth of points. Awesome. Let's do that. This sounds like a really quick and easy way to go and do that. We'll be ported to the boss room, and we're done. It's really fast, and it's fun, and it's a group of people. And with, like, that could be flex, cross realm, whatever. I like it.
And really anything that gets people into this end game content, anything that gets anybody into raiding specifically, I am all for, because I think that really this is some of the coolest stuff in game for PvE players out there. So I mean, get into raiding, let's do it. Let's do it.
Agreed.
I have a show about it. I'm not sure if you know that, Gary.
Wow, I had no idea, Pat Crane. Didn't know.
You're converting people to run dungeons, right? Convert to dungeon?
No,
so close, so close.
Convert to 5 now.
Convert to player versus player? Convert to
Oh,
PvP?
no.
Convert to paragraph? Something like that.
No? Hey, one thing you guys know, I'm a fan of Audible.
Nice segue.
Did you know that Audible
Speaking
has
of things that you're a fan of,
Audible
Gary,
has
like Pat show
I'm
Convert to
I'm
Raid.
staring at this.
Let's talk about Audible.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if a lot. I know the fans know that I love Audible and they're one of our sponsors, and I love having them. But I don't know if a lot of our viewers know that this hit just last month on Audible, and I'm kind of freaking out because I'm like, yes, 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 more yes. World of Warcraft: Dawn of the Aspects is on Audible. Well, it was added last month.
I gotta say, Audible's really good, especially with World of Warcraft. If you're a World of Warcraft,
Tick continued hesitantly. He recounted what he saw. No matter where he and the others attempted to journey in history, they always emerged at the same point in the future.
Sorry, Shaft. What was that? I was listening to Mr. Scott Brick.
I was just saying, you really gotta give Audible credit, and if you're a World of Warcraft fan, it's a really good place to catch up on the books, because they are fast about getting the World of Warcraft novels onto Audible when they're released. They got Vol'jin, Shadows of the Horde up like a week after I got the hard copy, a week early from Blizzard. And then they also, like, again, Dawn of the Aspects now came up just almost as soon as it was released, and then they have they got Storm Rage, they have Tides of War and Wolfheart. They don't have all of them, but they are so good at getting the new ones that come out almost instantaneously, and it's just great. If you guys love World of Warcraft story, it's a great resource to go to.
Yeah, Mr. Scott Brick's got an amazing voice. He's definitely a pleasure to listen to. So check it out. If you guys have not checked out Audible yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I got a kick-ass deal for you. It's audible.com/gamebreaker. Use that URL, and you're going to get a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. Yes, yes, yes. Free 30-day trial, free audiobook from the Audible. Love, love, love having audible.com as a sponsor to make this show and all the others on Gamebreaker TV happen. So if you have not checked it out, make sure go over there, use that URL, sign up today, download the app to your iOS device, your Android device, and get to downloading your free book and check it out. Make sure to check out the World of Warcraft stuff because there's a bunch of goodies in there to catch up on. All right, last up this week before we hit some viewer questions, we've got to open up it once more. All right, so the Holinka Files. That's right. All right, so first up from the Holinka Files, it should be no surprise that it happened in 5.3, 5.4, now 5.4.2. The patch dropped and P versus P effing broke. So Liv, Holinka's out there. He's probably watching. He can't wait to hear us talk. He's like, man, I wish they weren't talking about this week. Wow, really?
I wish they weren't talking about how PvP breaks every patch.
Could they just have let this one go and talked about something else? Maybe that mysterious island we're going to have open world PvP on and that expansion.
We talked about that last week. Yeah, in fairness, the thing that always breaks hasn't broken this time. This time,
what broke? Arena
wasn't
broke, right?
Actually, yeah, it was arena stuff. So according to law, they had some kind of thing with BlizzCon stuff getting onto the live servers. So they had, like, the matches were shorter, dampening was coming in earlier. So you had, like, basically tournament, like the BlizzCon tournament rules applied to all the arenas. And this, like, I mean, I wouldn't have liked it because I don't like dampening as it is. It's just not something that I enjoy as a healer. But people, like, it wasn't in any patch notes. It was a complete and utter accident. And they also had some other undocumented changes that, for whatever reason, and actually Rigarius, who's in charge of the patch notes, is in chat. So Rigarius, for whatever reason, some changes didn't actually make it into the patch notes. I can only assume they went in really late or something.
I feel like PvPers are just used to this at this point. Yeah. They're just like, yeah, okay.
Exactly. PvPers are just like, well, this happens. It's all right. I mean, at least these weren't anything relating to, like, you were able to use your conquest points. Your conquest vendors were still there. Like, all of that didn't break this time.
Wow,
and that's what seems to break every time. Yeah, you've got to give credit where credit's due. That did not break. So, yeah, exactly. And there was some other stuff with hunter pets that was broken.
We don't care about them. That's all right. Don't really matter. What's going on now? Are they fixing this stuff? What's the status?
Exactly. So they're fixing the dampening change. That's going back to 10 minutes. Arena duration is going back from 15 minutes up to 20 minutes. And basically, the stuff with the hunters was intentional. Dun, dun, dun.
What?
So that is not being fixed. So they brought in this. And
what's the deal with this?
Yeah, so Pat, you can actually probably... You can probably comment on this one as well, Pat. What they're doing is they're getting rid of hunters being able to cast Dismiss Pet in Arena.
Why would they want that, Mr. Pat?
I have, okay, so here's how much I play Arena on my hunter. Big donut. None. So I'm not really familiar with, I know hunters and I know that sometimes you want to, break out certain pets for certain buffs and stuff like that. So dismissing a pet for something,
it was apparently being used to get pets back to, like, get a full health pet. So you're like, oh no, my goat is almost dead. I will dismiss it and I will summon my monkey pet, and he's at full health. So this is all. There's other things, like, again, Pat, like, maybe you know what Roar of Sacrifice is, because I didn't. Like, is that a heal or something that hunters can use on their pet? So they would be able to reset the cooldown on Roar of Sacrifice, and that was kind of OP and unbalanced. So.
And the problem.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the problem with this is especially not so much with, like, marksman, but I can tell you for a fact, strategy for taking on a Beastmaster hunter back when I was doing them a lot, you kill the pet. That's the very first target you take out. And if you got to kill the pet 1,800 times because they keep dismissing it and bringing it back, and then it causes such conflict and problem. And now you said they're leaving it though. That's
correct. Yeah, they are leaving it in there. And
I don't like that.
You don't like it? Well, as Rigarius has just posted in our chat, there's a hotfix put in to lower the cast time of revive pets from, I believe it's 4.5 seconds right now, to someone will know in chat, maybe 4 seconds.
But what does it matter if I can't kill
to 2 seconds? You can kill that. You can kill their pet.
The strategy to killing the Beastmaster Hunter was killing their pet, so they lost all their buffs. But if they're just able to dismiss it and summon another one,
dude, that's exactly what they stopped them doing by removing dismiss pet from arenas. They stopped them from using dismiss pet in arenas. But what they're doing instead is they're bringing the cast time, halving the cast time of revive pet.
Yeah. So they'll be able to get it back, and even Hodded in chat says, "Good, now hunters will die." That's what Hodded says. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like a lot of the time you see people like trying to kill the hunter pet and the hunter's trying to dismiss his pet at the same time, like just trying to sort of rattle through that. And I definitely think it's a good change. And the revive pet that can be interrupted. And there was some issue with the Terrence with the crouching tiger hidden chimera talent not making you immune to interrupts. Which they're fixing as well. So you should be able to revive your pet if you use this big cooldown or if you get lucky or you're good with positioning and CC. But it just basically means that killing the hunter's pet is a way more viable strategy again.
Good. All right, let's do some viewer questions. Today's viewer questions are brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, just head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up, get a free 30-day trial. Netflix. All right, coming up first, this one in from Kylie asks, with dailies being removed...
They're in the... It's 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wrong one.
This is the bottom one, sorry.
What is this one? Oh, perfect. There we go. Boom! With dailies being removed and real-time events replacing it in WAD, is there enough to keep the casual gamer subbed? A lot I know just do dailies and farm rep. What do you think, Olivia?
I don't know, like, you all know how much I love the dailies. So I think it's definitely, like, if you look at the Timeless Isle, I was so into that at first. But because it was so quick, like the speed at which you got everything you wanted from it, unless you were like grinding out the Xiao Hao rep to get the mount, and I believe there's a pet there as well, and a few other bits and bobs. Like, you were done with the Timeless Isle so fast, and like you could gear out through it. And I think that the Timeless Isle was a great opening thing, but they need to kind of slow it all down, and like actually, make it a little bit less quick to gear up through it. And I hate to say it, but the dailies were slower and maybe gave people who just like to log on and play solo more to do than the Timeless Isle did as a sort of comparison, and like more long-term enduring content. But on the other hand, like they will have seen this, they'll have seen the drop-off in Timeless Isle participation, and I'm sure that it's something they'll be looking to fix with Warlords. So I think it's just a case of, like, dailies aren't the only way to do casual endgame content. And there are other things you can do.
What do you think, Mr. Gray?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I mean, for casual players, I think that there will be other things. There will be garrisons. There will be these real-time events like other games are doing. Riftish, type of stuff. So there may be something like that. There's like a Timeless Isle deal. There's like all these things. I think there will be enough to keep interest in certain particular fields, but I don't think that there's really going to be a focus. Dailies was always like a focus for people, and that was a good thing to like, hey, I'm going to log on. What should I do? Well, I will do dailies. And now it's going to be like it sounds like there's going to be a diverse field of possibilities out there for people. So I think that they got to watch it. People might get a little confused, and if people get confused about what they're supposed to do, that could mean that sooner rather than later they'll become disinterested in trying any of it. So that's the concern.
I think that the size of the Timeless Isles is a good but yet a bad indicator. So I think that, kind of going off of what Olivia said, because I mostly agree, the small size of the Timeless Isle is a problem because you're able to cover so much ground and do so much in a short amount of time. But the other problem is, if at max level, you don't know where these events are going to happen to participate in your dailies, and you're just told to wander out in the world. So I got done like looking for stuff in the Timeless Isle relatively fast, and now I find myself going over there occasionally trying to find gear for other characters or whatever the case may be. But I find myself more often than not wandering around doing nothing, which is good, I think, to a certain extent. but I don't feel like I'm accomplishing anything. And it doesn't do the same. Like Olivia said about dailies. Dailies, you kind of, you knew you logged in, you had a lot to do, you had at least your dailies, you had a structure to it. But now if we open up the whole if we were to open up the whole entire content of Pandaria to the idea of random events happening all over the place, but you never knew where to be at the right place at the right time, and you wanted to do these events, but you were always in the wrong place at the wrong time, you'll never see these events, and then you'll feel like there's even less to do if you're unlucky.
All right, next up, this one from Marlo. Marlo says, with the tertiary stats coming to WoD, a lot of people seem to think that they need certain tertiary points bonus to become optimal, and with Reforge being taken out of the game. Do you think they maybe should just change the Reforge system and have it change the tertiary stats instead? You know, just maybe have it cost a high amount of Valor or maybe a lot of Spirit of War, equivalent type mat to change your tertiary stat bonus on your gear?
Well, when it comes to gear, Gary, there's going to be a bunch of different things going on, and I think that one of the things that people have to realize is that tertiary stats are going to be tough to stack. They're going to be tough to get. So you don't know if you're going to actually be able to get any tertiary stat, let alone one. You know what I mean? So you don't know if you're going to get one, and you won't be able to pick which one it is. So I think that tertiary stats are going to be like this nice little bonus that people will just have to deal with. Really. Is that right, Olive?
Yeah, for sure. Like tertiary stats, I think, I personally, we spoke about this briefly last week, I am absolutely categorically not a fan of the removal of reforging in Wall of the Draenor. I think that without that change, the new gear system would be fantastic. With the change, I am less keen on it. But, you know, that's obviously the way they're going. I don't think that reforging tertiary stats, like Pat says, they're saying a less than 10% chance, to have tertiary stats on gear at all. And I think that they don't want you to be able to stack them. Like they're sort of saying, you know, they don't want you to have you're not going to be able to stack up a movement speed set. You're not going to be able to stack up a cleave set, etc., etc. So I don't think that having reforging apply just to tertiary stats is a good solution. I would go further, my friend, and apply it to everything.
And that's the problem with tertiary stats. If you add in the whole Reforge for tertiary, then that's all you're doing. You've changed the Reforge game. Oh, well, now you got to have a cleave set in order to do this fight. Well, now you got to have a movement speed to do this set. And now you just enforced that and made it a headache and a problem, and it shouldn't. I'm very glad they're getting rid of Reforging. I think it's pointless.
Right. Well, and plus it comes back to the whole thing of, hey, we want you to be able to use your gear right away and play. So if you take out reforging, you automatically say to people, guess what? You can just go ahead and play. Just put the gear on. Just go ahead and do it.
That's your item. It's not less optimal because you haven't reforged the crit into hit yet.
Right.
That is your item. Take it and equip it and go have fun.
Yeah, exactly. All
right, last up this week, Steven asks, with the introduction of Item Squish, do you think it will become harder to solo old instances?
No. No.
No, it won't. It won't.
Oh,
it was on the Shaflet, you get out. Okay, I'm just gonna delete it again.
It's gonna be a lot harder because, man, your item level is gonna be down, and you need to have that higher item level to take on Garrosh right now. He's at what? People are telling me to do flex. I gotta be 515.
Can you just kick him out
of the call? Down to 200.
Can we mute him or?
This is just ridiculous.
There we go.
There we go.
That works.
How am I gonna solo Karazhan anymore?
That works.
Why are you removing the cobwebs?
No.
I can't go inside.
No.
By the way, Blizzard has actually said that this will not mean that soloing will not be possible on your tune anymore. They said it will still take 5 seconds.
No way.
If
Did
it
they
takes
say
5
that?
seconds.
Yeah, they specifically said this will not affect your ability to solo old content.
Right. One of the last things that Ghostcrawler said before he announced that he was leaving was that you can still solo content. So there.
There it is. Pat Crane said it. It's internet fact. Pat Crane, follow him on Twitter at Pat Crane. Make sure to go to converttораid.com. Make sure to watch Convert to Raid now in video on Gamebreaker TV or at Convert to Raid.
Right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
And make sure to tune into the new show, Gamebreaker, with myself and Mr. Pat Crane as well.
Yes.
Always a pleasure, sir. Mike Shaffnet, follow him on Twitter at Mike Shaffnet. Make sure to go over to LOL Nation TV and make sure to watch his League of Legends show Waypoint and the Summoners
Has nothing to do with WoW. Doesn't matter. Go watch it anyway. I'll be happy. Go watch it, please. It's not about WoW.
Olivia D. Grace, follow her on Twitter. She's making shadow puppets all up in this piece.
Fun.
Follow her at Olivia D. Grace. Of course, go to WoW Insider and Zam, and right here on Legendary each and every week. You can follow me at Gary Gannon. Follow Gameburger TV at Gameburger TV, and make sure to keep an eye on our Facebook page. Like our page, facebook.com/Gameburger TV. Like it, like it, like it. Like it, like it's hot. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. It's almost Christmas time.